We have another new video into Outfront tonight. In this one, you see a column of Russian tanks believed to be in eastern Ukraine. These roads are just straight roads right in the middle of nowhere. They're driving along, spotted by Ukrainian drones. And then you see the deadly assault, a series of strikes taking out those tanks one by one, until all that's left is a graveyard of charred military tanks, many still burning. According to Ukraine, Russia has lost about 10,000 tanks and armored vehicles. And the loss of human life continues to mount, which is why something that happened today stands out as odd. The leader of the brutal Wagner Group, Evgeny Prigozhin, announcing today that he will no longer be recruiting prisoners to fight in the invasion. Now, this is significant if he's telling the truth, because Prigozhin has sent more than 50,000 convicts to the front lines in Ukraine. So why would he no longer be recruiting convicts? Well, the answer is unclear, but the shift in strategy could be blamed on the mass Russian casualties, could be blamed on tank operators driving over their own dead and injured like ragdolls. Maybe the interest from Russian convicts even to join this war is just quite simply no longer there. But now Russia is stooping to a whole new level to shame its young men into fighting. The face of Russian state television, you see her all the time, we show her to you, is now telling young men that it's no big deal if you die 30 years early. Listen.
But there is no chance to escape death. The difference in 10, 20, 30 years is really not that big. From the standpoint of the universe, it's not that big. It's not certain which is a better way to die.
I mean, it's incredible. No big deal if you die 30 years early. Even in a country where the average life expectancy is only 59.8, that is an incredibly sick thing to say. Imagine that. Zero disregard for human life. And in a moment, I'm going to speak to the Russian investigative journalist Andrei Soldatov, a regular here on our show who is new reporting on how many Russian soldiers are now actually turning to God. In fact, he says Russia is now naming battalions after saints, and that Russian media bizarrely claims that once the battalion name got changed, people stopped dying. More on that in just a moment. But first, Fred Pleitgen is out front on the ground.
Wagner mercenaries in brutal battles around Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. Among the assault force, convicts, charging in waves, suffering devastating losses. Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin often praises his group's battlefield efficiency, but now a sudden about-face. We have completely discontinued the recruitment of prisoners into Wagner PMC, he writes. Those who work for us now are fulfilling all their obligations. Ukrainian intelligence recently gave CNN access to 2 convicts recruited by Wagner who the Ukrainians captured on the front line. They said they were speaking with us willingly, but were disguising their identity for their own safety. There were 90 of us in our first assault, he says. 60 died in that first assault, killed by mortar fire. A handful remained wounded. The men say they were essentially cannon fodder, but retreating was not allowed. We were given the task of taking a place, and we had to take it at any cost, he says. We couldn't retreat without orders, because if we didn't comply, we'd be killed. 4 months, Prigozhin personally went to Russian jails with his offer, even for murderers and rapists. Fight 6 months in Ukraine, and if you survive, you'll be free. Only a handful in my unit came for money, he says. Most came because they had long jail sentences. But there were also some who had only 12 days of their sentence remaining, and they went anyway. The Ukrainians believe Wagner has so far sent around 50,000 convicts to Ukraine with a massive attrition rate, as high as 80% killed, wounded, captured, or deserted. Prigozhin, though, seems unfazed by the losses. Their contracts have ended. They're going home, he just said. But why would Prigozhin say he's changed what he feels is a winning formula? He didn't give any reason, but one possibility might be that the Russian Defense Ministry has sidelined Wagner and is now fully taking control of recruiting convicts. At least that's the view of prisoner advocacy group Russia Behind Bars.
Prisoners are difficult to deal with. Some Russian soldiers might not like fighting alongside prisoners in trenches. But there's big potential, and it's easy to recruit masses.
Russia's defense ministry didn't reply to our request for comment, but Ukrainian military intelligence believes there is a power struggle unfolding. The leadership of the Russian armed forces is going to belittle Prigozhin's role, he says, so that he cannot strengthen his position in the Kremlin hierarchy. Now, of course, Aaron, there could be various other reasons why Yevgeny Prigozhin now says that he's no longer going to be recruiting convicts for the war here in Ukraine. He might simply be running out of people willing to go, even in Russian jails. Of course, word is spreading that the attrition rates for Wagner are extremely high. It could also be a shift in strategy by the Russian military that makes that type of warfare less conducive to what the Russian military wants to do. It's really unclear, and certainly we're not hearing anything out of Moscow as to what the reasoning could be, Aaron.